Hey YouTube, already done a video on this one. This is Bob's guitar, which I'm about to take back to him, but I figured I'd do a wee demo of it. I did a video talking about it with Scott. It's the JTR model, which is some dude that used to work for Gibson Fender Custom Shop at a Gibson Custom Shop. Did it. It's in the last video. But it's awfully nice. So I've done a wee bit, I did the intonation, set it up a little bit. Didn't need much, just a wee bit of adjustment. What was it Scott said? Yeah, adjusting the seat and the steering wheel kind of thing. We'll do some sounds on it. So that, as you can see, this has what looks like two telly neck pickups and a telly bridge pickup in a slightly smaller Strat, Super Strat body with a Squire 51 type plate on it. It's got the thing, the control plate, the telly control plate. It's got really cool knobs on it. See, these are like, they've got like diamonds on them, but they're sort of conical. You know, like the diamond from the top, and even the pickup selector switch is cool. 5-way switch. Through strung. Amazing butterscotchy colour that you can see the wood through it. Sort of, well, yeah, it's got a cool sort of scoop away Yamaha joint system, and Scott's favourite stinger on the back of the headstock. A really cool headstock shape, which I hadn't actually realised. I don't think I mentioned it in the last video. I had a guitar that had a hideous headstock that had a really scalloped neck on it, and I went at it with a jigsaw and made it as like a blood splatter one. If you look at it, and basically I didn't mean to, but pretty much copied that headstock. Very similar sort of idea, very pointy. Maybe slightly too pointy. I mean, if this one's in mint condition, but I'm not sure that wouldn't. If you see these, that might not be chipped a bit, because it's pretty pointy. So, bridge pickup using the PV VK112. No pedals, reverb's on. It's got a very charvelly neck. It's like a D, so it's kind of wide and thin at the same time. And a pure, absolute chunky rosewood fingerboard on it. This, I think, is the top of the range. It's got its whole page in the catalogue type guitar, and it's at the front. New concept, which obviously never took off because it doesn't say Fender on it. You can't buy it if it doesn't say Fender or Squire on it. So bridge pickup, position 2, so you've got these two together. Middle pickup. Position 4. Neck pickup. This actually reminds me very much of, I had a guitar that I bought years ago, Hondo Formula 1 series, which was a basically a copy of an Ibanez RS 1300. You know, kind of not exactly, but it's like a bind top, carved top, a very similar feel, and well, it's the same factory. It was what 85 or something. This is beside 2011, okay, but it's a similar. It's a similar. It's got the samicky thing about it. Like some of the really the expense, the top of the range Hondos from the 80s are really good. Kind of in the same ballpark as this, but I wish I had more time to play with this. I've just been lazy, not done anything with it. I need to give Bob his guitar back. Plus, I had burgers off him. His Carolina Reaper burgers were awesome. I think I had about 4 and 6 in 2 days or something. Yeah, I didn't get sick of them. They were amazing. So yeah. I mean, again, I can't really even you don't see Scott's reaction to this. It's like, what can I swap for it? It doesn't have the I suppose you get your the Greg Bennett Samicks, which I think were maybe a little bit after this. Kind of replaced it as their sort of pro level ones. Kind of it's a weird guitar. It's one of those ones I'm not really sure. There's somebody who wants something different. I mean, it's totally usable. It's kind of weird not having a humbucker in it, I would have thought. But I mean, part of that is the fact it is a telly, basically. See if you cover up that bit. It's look, it's a telly suddenly. Or like a Nashville telly. But it's a really nice guitar. It just feels really solid. You really dig in on it. Also looks a wee bit like Jeff Beck's Charvel Jackson. He's got one that's kind of, it's normally a neon colour, but similar. Well, basically it's got this scratch plate on it. Very well designed, so it's got its own brand pickups on it as well. And an ashtray bridge with 6 saddles, now intoned the right way. I was really impressed with this one. It's partly just as a design. I mean, build quality is brilliant. It plays brilliantly, but the actual design of it just seems to. It all works together, even though it's like it's a sort of telly, but it's got a pointy headstop, but it fits. It's like it's not like just a done by a committee type thing. You really get the impression that somebody's tried to make the best guitar in the world, and that kind of aspect, which you do get. I mean, you get that sometimes with early Washburns. It's like these they're trying to make the best guitar in the world. It's like, yeah, do it. All the choices seem very right. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to give this back. I'll be honest, if I ended up with one of these in a trade, it's like they're not going to fetch that much money. I don't even think I know Bob didn't pay very much for it, but I think you're talking about kind of 200 quid sort of thing is what you're likely to find these at. And for that, it's like you're looking at like the cheapest Epiphone Les Paul, the cheapest, and you're getting something that's a bit different. Also, I mean, I can see it being one of your folk that's already got half a dozen guitars. It's like something that's got, because it's a telly, but it's I don't have a guitar with this layout, the 5-way switch, and it's very comfortable to play. I mean, it's aesthetically very good. It's got the forearm chamfer and a big belly cut on it. Very nice. I quite like that riff, but it's not that easy to solo over. I think it changes key halfway through it. Yeah. So, see you shortly, Bob. Yes, I would totally recommend one of these. A good one. 8 out of 10, which is 8 out of 10 is keep it territory. Again, this might fall into one of those categories that anyone who does own one and would maybe sell it on if they'd bought like a guitar that they don't play very often, or like a Mexican Strat or something like that. You can sell that, get your money back, sort of thing. Whereas I think there's probably a lot of element of this is that people are going to go, right, well, how much do I get if I sell it? And it's like, even if you can find it, I've never seen one before. So you're into the realms of you can't just look up completed listings on eBay to find out what they're worth, which means that they might squeeze through at really cheap prices. For the person like me who's willing to go out a little bit on a limb and buy something a little bit strange looking. And this one is absolutely mint. Looks brand new. I don't think it's ever been played. There is absolutely zero fretwear on it. This has been bought, put in a case. Even I was adjusting the truss rod. It's like started turning the truss rod and it's not doing anything. Oh fuck, it's broken. Not doing anything. Oh, there we go. It's caught on. And then it was like once it had caught on, it was like, right, here we go. Done. So it wasn't like, oh, it needs the truss rod adjusted. It was just like, just got a wee bit. Yeah. So now it's playing just that wee bit better. But I mean, it was already playing better when I had it before. It's like one of those things that when you get like a really good guitar, even if it's not set up right, you can still play it and it still seems alright. It's just that you can kind of tell once you've gone through so many guitars, you can kind of tell going, no, this should be better than this. This could be really good. It's already good, but it could be really good. And now it is. There's a bit of dirt in there. Yeah, so if you see one of these, snap it up. Samick JTR Marie. Actually, there's another one as well. I never actually thought of looking it up. There was, when I typed in, if you type in Samick JTR, there's a Marie and there's another girl's name. What's the other one? I can't remember. Is it a Les Paul? I can't remember. There's another one. It's a completely different guitar, but it's done by the same dude who worked for Gibson or Fender Custom Shop. I can't remember. Kind of like your whole, I suppose they're going along the same idea as your Trev Wilkinson and your Alan Entwistle and the Greg Bennett, where you get somebody who to go into one of the, are they all Samick things? Do you know what I mean? It's like they get somebody into as a designer who worked for one of the big companies, go do something different. Because there must be a point if you're designing guitars, you know, it's like you're mad into designing guitars, right? You're working for Gibson. It's like, right. So what we're designing is that we don't like to do guitar, or people don't buy guitars that we do that aren't from the 50s. So you're not really designing anything, are you? The same way like Fender as well. So, I mean, obviously they tried. Maybe even like Gibson tried, but you know, these sort of things in the 70s, but they don't really. I don't think they really do that very often. I think they're still sneaky wee ones that pop out every couple of years. Gibson and Fender will try something that's a bit mad that they make for a year, nobody buys, and then it becomes a curio, really. You know, like sort of Fender. What's the one? They had one that was kind of like the Gibson V3, was it called? The one that's kind of like It's got like a tiger thing on it. It's got 2 sets of pickup. Yeah, they try these things, but I guess it's one of the problems that have been stuck as Gibson or Fender. It's like, yeah, you're Gibson or Fender. Well, you just got to make, your Gibson. You got to make Firebirds. Well, you can make small. You got to make Les Pauls, 335s, SGs, and then occasionally you can do Firebirds and Explorers. Maybe one of them or something in a Flying V. Just like, that's kind of it. As soon as they vary, they go off those things. You end up buying things like those ones. The Firebird. The one that connected to your phone, that famous video a couple of years ago when they were driving a tracked digger over hundreds of them, crushing them all up, or some sort of tax dodge because he'd made lots of them, and they tried to advance the technology, and it was like, the problem is if you advance it to take a phone, it goes out of date almost immediately, and they're like, oh, the Firebird XL or something called. They didn't even make it the right shape either, and it's like, I don't know, it was painful watching that video. If you've not seen that, it was all over Facebook a couple of years ago. They're just having to destroy them for a tax dodge because I think it's one of those ones. And you just, obviously someone like me is looking at it and going, it's a £1,500 Gibson guitar. I bet you, I must be able to do something with it. But there was some tax legal reason. It was just that they had to destroy them. I was just looking at that and going, I'd run about. They had tuners on them, and they had pickups in them, and the necks. It's all these things. All that stuff was probably good. Mind you, there'd be set necks probably, so you wouldn't be able to just whip the neck off and put it onto a different body. Yeah. Yeah. So check out Samick guitars. I got put off with Samick years ago. I know they made the desirable Epiphones in the late 90s. And apparently Samick made like a third of all the electric guitars in the world in the 90s. Something stupid like that. I think they were making Squires as well. But I went and tried a Samick Les Paul one time, and it was awful. It was a terrible guitar. Like a Samick branded one. And so that kind of went, oh, maybe... I just assumed that... I thought it would be more like this, where it's like, you're right, we're no longer working, or this guitar is not for Epiphone or Squire, so we can go mental and make a pure belter, and it's like, and sell it for the same price as I don't know, is there an Epiphone equivalent or a Fender equivalent? Not really. But imagine it's probably cost about the same as a Squire Telly or one of the more expensive Squire Tellys, but it's a much better guitar. And also the Hondo Formula 1 series, which were Samick as well from a few years before this. Similar sort of thing. Also the Hondo Fame series. A bit like that. Not so much the just Hondo ones, but the ones that are Hondo and they've got like a series on them are not this spec, but this spec level. They're really good at finishes. The finish on the neck is absolutely lovely. Like a sort of lovely glossy, the kind of neck I would want. I wish my SPN had a neck that was painted like this. It's kind of, it's dead smooth and glossy and feels like you could just eat it. Fantastic. Rock on.